Hello, everyone. My name is John Klinghammer. I'm clarinet and bass clarinet with the Kansas City Symphony. I've been doing a series of interviews with musicians in the orchestra. This is the 8th interview that we've done so far this fall, which, if you're doing the math, out of 72 musicians in the orchestra right now, that makes 1/9 of the total membership of the orchestra. Although I did interview Jason Sieber, so I guess it doesn't quite count since he's a conductor and not a musician. Well, he's a musician. Sorry, Jason. He's a conductor, not a member of the orchestra. Tonight we're going to be talking to Stirling Trent, Associate Concertmaster. And as always, he's right on time, because that's how he rolls. Hi, Stirling.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks for having me on here. This is something I've been looking forward to.
It's a pleasure to have you on. So, let's get into it. I was looking over, you sent me information about yourself, and I was looking it over. You grew up, born and raised in Texas.
Yep,
Right?
down
Can you,
Fort Worth there.
Fort Worth area. I feel like there are so many great musicians from Texas. Am I wrong about that, or is that?
No, it does seem to be the case. It's a big state.
The big state, I guess. I thought like maybe it was because they make all the marching band members take lessons or something, like that Texas is really serious.
That's a huge part of it. So there's a ton of wind and brass players that come out of there, and the school system seems to really support that.
Yeah.
I didn't benefit from that because I was homeschooled, but
Right.
that was its own benefit to me.
Right.
So I got to watch TV practice.
There you go. Learned at a young age how to multitask, television and practicing.
Yes.
And then you went to school at SMU, and
Well, first
later.
I undergrad at Juilliard, and then SMU was just like an artist certificate for a couple of years. But yeah, it was like East Coast, and then I had to get that out of my system, so I went back to Texas for a couple of years.
I gotcha. And then you went to USC for grad school for your doctorate, I guess.
Yeah, master's and then doctorate.
Master's and doctorate. That's interesting. So you're like a Texas boy, and then you went to the East Coast, and then you came back, and then you went to the West Coast. Did you find it like that? Was there a lot of culture shock going back and forth, or was it just kind of like, whatever, I'm in music school?
I mean, there certainly was, but I was so ready for it. I was looking forward to it so much. I mean, I grew up in Texas, homeschooled, relatively sheltered, but I knew New York City was going to be an exciting place to be in. So I was extremely excited about getting to live there, and I was still a kid. I was 18.
Right.
So it seems like a long time ago, but I'll never forget the opportunity of getting to live there.
Having those experiences, if someone would ask you, do you want to live in New York or LA?
LA, absolutely.
Really? Because of the weather, or just?
Honestly, when I went to LA in the first place, I wasn't looking forward to it because my limited experience of the city didn't leave me with a great feeling for it. But after living there for 5-6 years, I grew to love it. It's a very seductive city. Whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to do, whatever kind of style you're looking for, whatever outdoor activity you're looking for, it's all there, and it just has this feeling of endless opportunity. Yeah. Whereas New York is exciting and it's got this energy walking around and everything, but it's also, you have your armor up when you're there. Like it sort of never stops. So very different experiences, but LA, I would be happy to live there again someday.
Yeah. I can understand why. Maria agrees with you completely, by the way, on that.
She understands.
And you studied with, of course, Midori when you were in school at USC, right?
Yes, that was the reason that I went.
And how was that? Like, what's like the biggest thing you got out of that, either gleaned or directly learned, or like? What was she able to give you that was really valuable?
she's an extraordinarily dedicated teacher in terms of the kind of attention she gives and also the amount. So the first 2 to 3 years with her, it was literally 7 to 9 hours with her every week. So like three
Wow.
3 hours. So it was as much lesson time as practice time, which was challenging and but really amazing in so many ways. So after a while, you have to learn how to sort of take certain things and forget certain things, just because you know we're all different, and there are certain things that I'm not going to be able to recreate that she can do, and but really, she was just an extraordinary inspiration, the hardest working person I've ever known. Um, yeah, she's just a remarkable person. Musically brilliant too. The way she can dissect movement of Bach, and and the way she can teach it too is really memorable. I'm really grateful for all the opportunity I had with her.
Yeah. I feel like I remember talking to either hearing you play Bach or talking to you about Bach once. And you had these very clear ideas about what you thought should be happening that impressed me. And then I remember when she came here and she played that Bach
Don,
encore, and all of us in the back, we were like, "Oh, wow, wow, that's really
when I
special
when I
playing."
started with her, it was a quick um, learning experience of feeling like, okay, I have to slow everything way down and take note of many more details. Yeah, especially with anything with multiple voices, she's really incredible how she makes you pick each part out and be able to hear multiple voices at the same time, and put it all back together. Just the way she makes your ear work
Right,
is
that's cool. Um, so when you came to Kansas City, you played in the Colorado Symphony for 3 years, right? And
right.
then you got the job with Kansas City in 2015. You
Mm-hmm.
started off in the first violin section, and
Yes.
then you won an audition for associate principal
I
second,
think
or
actually it was even more of a process. I think the first thing was I won an I may not remember this correctly, an internal audition for assistant principal second,
okay.
third chair, and then there was a national audition for the associate. So I think I jumped around a whole lot.
Bottom
Um,
line is, if there's a Kansas City
bottom line,
Symphony audition, you won it, basically.
finally, I had a lot of
So,
practice.
yeah, sure. Well, right. But you hopped from the first to the second, and now you're acting associate concertmaster. So you're back in the first. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's most interesting is going from being a first violin to being like a titled second violin.
Mhm.
I assume there's some thought that goes of like, do I want to make this change? Why do I want to make this change? Is it more just about there's the leadership opportunity that's really interesting to you, or?
I think I just wanted to use my E string again, and um, I, I didn't ever expect it to be a long term commitment. To be back in the first, it's a temporary position, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to use practice my leadership skills,
Yeah.
and play some of the more I mean, get in trouble for saying this, but some of the more exciting parts sometimes, even though second violin has plenty of action. Um,
As a second clarinet player, I take no offense.
okay, please, thank you. It was just an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. So.
Yeah, yeah, cool. All right. Well, let's talk about. I've been posting photos of yours all day,
I
which some
I
of my personal faves. Um, and I was just curious. Actually, there was a couple questions here, so why don't we go ahead and. Okay. So, one person wants to know what is your least favorite lens. I'm not sure why they're asking that, but least
Well,
favorite
I'm
lens.
I'm too much of an amateur to even answer that question. What's the one that doesn't fit? I,
Come on, internet. You can do it. Oh, oh, this is a bad freeze. Hmm. Shoot. Oh, wow, there we go. It freezes at least once every time, but that was a really long one.
technical hurdles we got.
Technical hurdles,
All
everyone.
deal with.
All right, you were telling us about your least favorite lens.
I was just going to say, I think one of my favorite things to do is to go out with any lens, any one lens, and figure out ways to find interesting shots just with that lens. So, like with any art, limitations are what force you to be creative and find things to see.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorite things about photography is just there is no place, there's no location, there's no city or setting that doesn't have something interesting, doesn't have something to find.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would answer it. But the real answer is that I haven't used enough lenses to have a least favorite yet.
Really, have a least favorite. I was thinking about this today. It occurred to me that photography is sort of aptly comparable to being a classical music performer because the world is always there, right? The images are there. What you see exists. Just like when we get a piece of music, there's the music.
Yeah.
But that music doesn't sound like anything in the hands of someone that doesn't know how to play the instrument, right? And it's similar. If I go out and try to take a picture of a sunset, it's not gonna quite sound as nice as if you do. You know what I mean? So
Right. There's every picture, even though there's, countless pictures from the World War I memorial, every single one is still unique and just as every live performance is going to be unique. I think one of the interesting things about photography is it's not as much what is in the picture, it's how you take everything surrounding your focus away. It's how you limit things to make what's in the focus interesting. So
I see.
I don't know.
And that's kind of like what Midori's showing you with like finding each voice and bringing it
It's
out while you're
clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that you limit yourself on purpose when you take pictures to make it challenging and interesting. Allison wants to know, what equipment do you shoot pictures with? I assume that's a very long answer as well.
It depends. A lot of pictures I actually just take with my phone. I mean, fortunately, phones these days have some pretty remarkable cameras. So a lot of times I'll just do that if I really want to run and not think about anything else. Lately, I've been actually taking my Canon. I've got a Canon EOS 6D. I've been actually taking that out and putting it in the backpack and trying to cushion it and not run too hard
Mm-hmm.
and use that. It's still an experiment, work in progress.
Sure.
But I just go back and forth between those. And that's pretty much it.
I'd say too, like you're an early riser and you run, so you're covering a lot of ground in the city at sunrise. It seems like,
That's
right?
my favorite time. It's just that's the time when every single minute, sometimes every second, the light changes, something changes. If you're watching the sun crest over a hill, you can literally see it, right? You can see it moving.
Right.
So it's like capturing those moments, and that's sort of the best time to do it. I mean, there's the other side and doing it at the sunset, but it's hard to do both.
Right. You could be really tired.
Yeah.
And busy.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else about photography or cook? I know you said you're into cooking. You're a vegan, am I right? or
for 8 or 9 years now.
yeah, yeah,
Which really made me think a lot more about cooking. So, but I love cooking.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your jam? What do you make? Are you the guy that's like got recipes all the time, or are you just what's the thing that you just throw down? You're like, I'm hungry. This is what I'm gonna do.
I mean, with the last 7 months or so, I've tried to do a few different things. But I'm pretty regular with a salad for lunch, um, and I'll doctor that up in whatever interesting ways I can. Um, Pizza, make a lot of pizza. I use cashews for a lot of different things. I mean, these are all like kind of vegan staples, so you
Yeah,
can turn cashews into fake cheese, into dessert, into
yeah.
sour cream, all kinds of things like that. Um, but yeah, you get stuck in rut, so always looking for new things to do.
Good ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but lots of salad.
Lots of salad. Salad is delicious. I
It
grew
really
up
is.
hating vegetables, but like,
It could be almost anything too. I mean,
and it's still in my head. Like, I'm like, what should I eat? Oh, salad. And then we make salad, and it's so good. I don't know why I can't get
I
past
think
get
we're
past
all sort of ruined on salad as kids, but
that.
it makes me feel so good. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's that too. Okay, so the orchestra has been playing all these mobile music box concerts all around town.
mhm.
You have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you playing with Caleb? Do you have a duo, a trio? What's your,
Trio, Caleb and David. So we've got bass, percussion, and me.
cool.
So mostly we're doing some duos in a mix and match. There's not a whole lot that we have discovered yet that we can put all three of us together, but we're still searching for those things. And but yeah, the three of us have done a couple in the mobile music box, and it's an impressive mobile unit. It's great.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How have the audiences been? How's your experience of it been? Like,
It's been great to see a lot of people out there, and they've been very enthusiastic and supportive. A lot of nice comments. I think it's great that people can see musicians from the symphony out and around town, and still doing what we do. Um, some of the best performances in my memory are the less formal style, and this kind of lends itself to that.
mhm.
So you can go talk to people very easily after performance, before performance, and I think people just appreciate seeing us out there. That's the impression that I get.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's right. What's your How have you handled like life as a musician during the pandemic? Like, is it just kind of like, well, I let's play a few scales and then go about our day, or I mean,
It's been, I mean, it's been a ride for everybody. I think I was doing that for a couple months, kind of trying to stick to the same maintenance of the instrument,
mhm.
and after a while, that got a little bit tedious, and I was like, why am I doing this? But then as we went through the summer and got back towards playing again, it became important again. So it's been nice to sort of try to get back into shape after a little hiatus.
Yeah,
Uh, and again, these informal performances can be great opportunities. So I think there's a lot that we can do in the setting that we're in. Yeah, but it is challenging. So that's part of the photography has been focusing on something else, because it's hard to just focus on one thing when we're not in the hall, when we're not
right.
performing for
Right,
1,000
absolutely.
people.
Somebody named Penny just said hi, Uncle Sterling.
Hi, Penny. That's my brother's daughter
That's
over
cute.
in Texas.
How old is Penny?
Penny is 9.
9.
Don't kill me, Penny. You are 9, right?
You can correct him, Penny. Just type it right in there. That's awesome. I was thinking, what was I going to ask you? I lost my train of thought there because of Penny. 8. Oh, 8. Not 9 yet.
Oh, 8. Sorry.
Ah,
Time's flying. So.
hard to keep. It's hard to keep up.
There's 5 of them, so it's hard. Yeah.
That makes it extra hard for sure. I was gonna say, I think it's in some ways like you say, the connections you make with unusual concerts like this, where it's small audiences and a small group on stage, but you're featured, you really feel like you're being heard. You can see them individually, out in front of you and in different places around town. It can be a special thing. I think it's a really great.
It is. It's interesting because it's in some way informal, but as you said, it's almost like it's closer to a chamber music performance or almost like a solo performance sometimes, where it's a different kind of pressure than, at least for violin or cello or viola, where you're in a section, where the standard is still there, but you feel a little bit more comfortable in the throng rather than, okay, I'm the only one on my part. I mean, the wind player, that's kind of always the case, but
not even like that much though. I mean, if you have an ensemble, if you only have an ensemble of 3 or 4 people, you're kind of a soloist the whole time. Yeah, it's very different, even for a wind player, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you're a principal, in which case you're just always, you're always the most important thing.
Always.
Always. Cool. Well, let me check to see if there's okay. This feels like a good time to give you a ridiculous quiz.
All right.
It feels like the right moment. I was going to ask you. You said you're really into reading science fiction. Do you have a science fiction series or book that I haven't heard of that you want to recommend to?
Well, one of my favorite authors is Neil Stevenson. Have you read any of his?
Neil Stevenson, no.
Probably my favorite book from the last 7-8 years is Anthem. But he wrote, his most recent book was called Fall or Dodge in Hell.
Was it Fall or Dodge in Hell?
Or Dodge in Hell. I don't know if I can say that. But, yeah. He just writes big, very interesting plot lines and kind of takes things further than you expect over 1,000 pages. And sometimes they're a little bit daunting, but once you get into them, they go very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So many good series, though.
That's a good place to start. If that's 1,000 pages, I'm covered.
Yeah. And that one is just, you just start with that.
I'll get back to you if I get through that one. Cool. No, it's good to know. All right. So, first of all, this quiz is based on your name, and I just want to say, first of all, that I love your name. It's an amazing name. As a person with the name Klinghammer, I appreciate anybody with interesting names. So I'm not making fun of your name. I'm embracing it and saluting it is what's happening here.
Okay.
Basically, to me, Stirling Trent sounds like, maybe like a Private Eye or a little bit.
You're a mystery fan. I know that.
Yeah. So what I've done here, this is a quiz. These are names of characters that I feel like would hang out with Stirling Trent, or would be his, I don't know, his ally. Maybe be in the same bit. It's stupid. Just stay with me here. All right, five questions. I think you're going to do really well. This guy played the violin, and Watson was his bestie.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, yes. Sherlock
Yeah,
Holmes and Stirling Trent would totally have coffee and discuss crime. Um, this fellow lived in a manor, worked in a cave,
Bruce Wayne.
though he was terrified of bats. Bruce Wayne is correct. Beat me to the end of the clue. Very good. All right. Question number 3. It's 2 for 2 so far. It's going really well. Don't get mad, but this troubled soul was creative director of the advertising firm Sterling Cooper.
It's from Mad Men.
Uh-huh.
I did not watch, so
So you don't know his name?
no, I would recognize it if I heard it. But
There's alliteration involved. Let's see, I'm trying to think if I can give you a clue. When the show was over, it was curtains for this character. That's a really terrible clue.
Draper.
Yeah!
Draper. There we go.
All right,
that was a good clue.
Done.
That was a good clue.
Thank you. I felt good about it on the spot. All right, that's 4 for 4, right? 3 for 3. Where are we? 3 for 3.
I get prize.
All right.
I get this.
Yeah, you get my voice on your answering machine. I don't know.
All right.
Should you want it? Okay, if you were sharing a drink, this guy might say, "Shaken, not stirred, Sterling." James Bond. That's clearly just so I could say stirred Sterling.
Well, I'm honored to have a quiz centered around those
special people. Well, there's one more, and this is the hardest one. Okay, but this is why I asked you earlier how you were with 80s television. So I'm optimistic. Last one for all the marbles. This popular mid-80s television show's title character was portrayed by an actor who later became James Bond. But what was the name of the show or the title character? Mid-80s, the actor later became one of many James Bonds.
Actor later became one.
Toughie.
It's not.
I could tell you the name of the actor, but if you need a hint.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. The actor is Pierce Brosnan. Does that help?
Oh. And it's a show that I didn't watch, but I can see it in my mind.
Yeah, of course.
And I can almost remember the name of the show, but I can't. If I had watched it, I probably would remember.
You would remember it. I don't even know. I think I watched it a few times.
The
show and the character, Remington Steele. Remington Steele. Classic. Clearly you weren't watching enough television while you were...
Quite. Too many scales.
Awesome. Well, thank you for indulging us with the quiz tradition, Sterling. 4 out of 5 is still a win in anybody's book.
I'll take it.
And it's fun chatting with you.
You too. This was fun.
And I will actually see you soon, will I not?
Yes, very soon. We have a doggy play day. So
puppy dog play day. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
That'll
be excellent.
Does your group have a gig coming up?
We are playing on Wednesday night, and I believe it is a Salvation Army gig. That's all I remember at this point. I got to check the location.
Well, if you want to check out Sterling's group, everyone, or any other of the Kansas City Symphony groups, you can see the schedule and the locations online, kansascitysymphony.org. We also put them up on the Kansas City Symphony Musicians Instagram page or Facebook page. And check out Sterling's website, cloudrunnerphoto.com, for photos and cool stuff like that. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks, John. See you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, everyone. Oh, shoot. I didn't get his favorite TV show. I'm sorry, Rachel. Next time.